2016 NFL season, and here is my review of Week 3 and also my Week 4 picks. Welcome to this week's episode of Big Predictions. 3 weeks down in the NFL season, let me tell you, Week 3 was definitely a week. It was definitely some week, I'll tell you that right now. 3 games that I did not expect to have the outcomes that they did. You know, the Steelers getting blown out like they did. The Cardinals getting blown out like they did. I mean, it was just really, really brutal. So my Week 3 review. During Week 3, I just lost one more game than I did last week. I went 10-6 for Week 3, and I have overall record of 30-18, which not bad at all. I mean, that's really, really good. Week 3 definitely was, man, I'll tell you what, just some games that I did not expect to see what happened. The Vikings and the Panthers, who saw that coming? The Vikings beating the Panthers in Carolina. I sure didn't. So, the Panthers starting 1-2 on the season. I did not expect them to start 1-2 on the season. Steelers and the Eagles. The Steelers got blown out. They didn't even score a touchdown. That was really, really brutal. And then the Cardinals and the Bills. The Bills, I did not expect them to beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a pretty big favorite to win this year, and they lost. So, definitely not very good for them. Definitely a very oddball Week 3. So, without further ado, let's get into Week 4. Now to start off Week 4, of course, bye week start this week. So for Week 4, 2 teams have a bye week this week. That'll be the Packers and the Eagles. Of course, the Eagles off to a 3-0 start, which I don't think not a lot of people saw that. Carson Wentz has exceeded the expectations. He's definitely a major Rookie of the Year contender. No doubt in my mind he'll be the Rookie of the Year. Well, let's go to the Thursday night game. First, it's the Dolphins and the Bengals. The Dolphins get their first win of the season against the very, very weak Browns. Not very hard to get a win over the Browns, even though it wasn't overtime. But still, not very hard to get a win over the Browns. And at Cincinnati getting lost to a strong Denver team. They still have that very strong defense, but I'm still going to take the Bengals in this one. They're still a better team than Miami. So, Cincinnati over Miami. We go to the Sunday games now, and as I'm looking, I believe this first game here, the Colts and the Jaguars, according to the time here, it's at 9:30 in the morning Eastern Time, which means it's the first game in London this season. And of course, the Jaguars, they get another London game. I kind of feel bad for them. So, and then the Colts at the Jaguars. Jaguars being the home team, but it's in London. So, pretty much meeting on a neutral field. So, I'm going to take the Colts to beat the Jaguars in London. The Colts, they had a pretty big win this past week. And so I'm going to take the Colts over the Jaguars. Next game, the Titans and the Texans. The Titans, they got a loss. Both of these teams coming off losses in Week 3. The Texans losing pretty bad, worse than I thought they were going to. I mean, I thought it was going to be a close game between them and New England, but it wasn't close at all. The Titans, they lost a fairly decent game to the Raiders. But I'm going to take the Texans in this one. I think the Texans are the overall better team. So the Texans over the Titans. The next game, the Browns and the Redskins. Like I said, the Browns, they're friggin' weak. And the Redskins, they got the win over the Giants. Damn Redskins. But yeah, they got the win over the Giants, and I'm still going to take the Redskins over the Browns. And it does not take very much effort to beat the Browns. And in fact, here's the first. This is my twin out for the 2016 season, Week 4. Lock it in right here, right now. My 2016 big prediction of the year. The Browns are going 0-16 this season. That's right, you heard it right here, right now. The Browns are going 0-16 this season. They're just an overall pretty terrible team. So, with that being said, you heard it right here. Redskins over the Browns. The Browns, you're terrible. The next game, the Seahawks and the Jets. The Seahawks got a pretty big win over the 49ers. And the Jets, they got a they had a pretty embarrassing loss. Ryan Fitzpatrick, oh dear God. 6 interceptions for you, Ryan. I'm glad nobody in my league has you on their fantasy team. Even though you did put up more points than about half of my team. Yeah. 6 interceptions. Wow. But yeah, with that being said, it's in New York, but I'm still going to take the Seahawks in this one. They're a stronger team than the Jets. Ryan Fitzpatrick had probably the worst game in his career. Still better than Mark Sanchez.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
But yeah, the Seahawks over the Jets. Next game, the Bills and the Patriots. The Bills, they got a big win over Arizona this past week. And the Patriots, they got a pretty big win over the Texans. But the Patriots, last game without Tom Brady, and they're still unaware of the quarterback situation. Jacoby Brissett, he had the first career game, gets hurt, and then Jimmy Garoppolo, he's hurt as well. I think he'll most likely get the start. Big 10 days off that they've had. So, of course, I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. The Bills are still a pretty weak team. And a Patriot-dominated AFC East, so I'm going to take the Patriots over the Bills. Next game, the Panthers and the Falcons. The Panthers, they got stunned by the Vikings. I mean, who saw that? Vikings beating the Panthers? I didn't. So, and they're facing in Atlanta against the Falcons. The Falcons, they got a win over New Orleans Monday night. But I'm going to take the Panthers in this one. I still think the Panthers are a stronger team. So I'm going to take the Panthers over the Falcons. Next game, the Raiders and the Ravens. Now, both of the Ravens... 3-0 start. I did not see that one coming either. And the Raiders, they're off to a 2-1 start. I'm going to take the Raiders in this one over the Ravens. The Ravens 3-0, the Raiders 2-1. But the Raiders, they still look pretty decent this season. So the Raiders over the Ravens. Lock it in. Next game, the Lions and the Bears. The Bears. Yeah, the Bears. You're still the Bears. You always will be the Bears. Against the Lions, who, the Lions are alright. They're an alright team. So... with that being said, I'm going to take the Lions over the Bears. The Lions are still a pretty decent team, so the Lions over the Bears. Next game, the Broncos and the Bucks. Plain and simple here, the Broncos over the Buccaneers. The Broncos are still the best team in football right now. So, the Broncos over the Bucks. The next game, the Rams and the Cardinals. Another NFC West matchup. The Rams, the only team they can beat is Seattle. So I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one. Yeah, they had the embarrassing loss to the Bills. But I'm still going to take the Cardinals in this one. Cardinals over the Rams. Next game, the Saints and the Chargers. Here's another game that was a little bit tough to choose. The Saints off to an 0-3 start. I did not expect that they'd have a bad start like that. I thought they would be pretty decent. So, with that being said, I'm going to take the Chargers over the Saints. The Chargers, they actually have a better record than the Saints. Never thought I'd be saying that at this point in the season. So, the Chargers over the Saints. Next game, the Cowboys and the 49ers. 49ers, not that good. I mean, there's been some talks about maybe Colin Kaepernick might be getting the starting spot back. I hope he doesn't. Screw you, Colin Kaepernick. You'll never have respect for me again. And the Cowboys, they look pretty decent with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. The Cowboys would be absolutely numb to go back to Tony Romo. Because, yeah, even though Jerry Jones does have a friggin' man crush on Tony Romo, so it wouldn't surprise me if Romo does get the starting spot back. But I'm just saying you'd be shooting yourselves in the foot. So, I'm going to take the Cowboys over the 49ers. They have a pretty strong team, so the Cowboys over the 49ers. The Sunday night game, the Chiefs and the Steelers. The Chiefs, they got a good win over the Jets. Their defense did strong, had 6 interceptions against Ryan Fitzpatrick. And the Steelers, you got embarrassed. Against the Eagles, the Steelers, the big loss against the Eagles, it was very, very embarrassing. Only a field goal. But still, I'm going to take the Steelers. They're in Pittsburgh. They'll bounce back from this loss, and I think Ben Roethlisberger will turn it around, and he'll go off this week. So I'm going to take the Steelers over the Chiefs. In the Monday night game, the final game of Week 4, it's my Giants against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, I don't think anybody expected them to start 3-0, let alone beat the Panthers. That stunned the league. And the Giants, they got a tough loss against the Redskins this past weekend. The penalties is what killed him there, and Odell just needs to clear his head. Don't let Norman or anybody get into his head. That's just what's going to kill us. But, as much as I hate to say it, I got to take the Vikings in this one. They're at home in the new stadium, and they're off to a 3-0 start. Definitely not what I expected. I will say this. Sam Bradford has definitely found his fit in Minnesota. He's been trashed in Philly. I mean, he sucked in Philly, let's all be honest here. But he's definitely found his match in Minnesota, and that should carry over. but I'm going to take the Vikings over the Giants, as much as I hate to say it. And that's all for my picks for week 4. The MLB playoffs will be starting next week, so look out for that video. And, of course, tune in next Wednesday for my week 5 video. See how I did this week in week 4. I'm going for 15-0 this week. I just want an undefeated record, but if not, definitely want less than 5 losses. Definitely don't want any more than 5 losses this week. But until then, guys, I'm Big E, and thank you for watching. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. And until then, everybody, so long.